Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, June 13 imply some bombshells on the as fans head into the weekend. Let's start off by talking about Martin Richardson's secret and how it will continue to haunt him during Friday's show. Rewinding a bit to the Thursday, June 12 episode, fans saw Martin triggered when he was given news about a business in his writing that had been robbed. Unfortunately, the owner was also assaulted, and as the entire crime was being described to the congressman, he began having more flashbacks about the big secret he's hiding. Martin then went to visit his mom, Nicole Richardson, during the June 12 show to talk about the problem he's been experiencing with these flashbacks and disturbed sleep. After all, she is a therapist, right? Still, while Nicole listened to him as a mom, she also advised him to go see a therapist, as it's never wise to treat family members for health. Afterward, Martin went to the country club, and this is when the mystery man, who's been hovering over Martin and Vernon Dupree, followed him from a distance. BTG spoilers suggest that the lines between Martin's past and present will blur on Friday's show. Could this mean that Jason Vendre's mystery man will finally confront Martin? Will Martin recognize him from his past? Will they just run into each other or have a face-off? In other news, Ashley Morgan questions Derek Baldwin's intentions. Despite smoothing things over after their almost asterisk breakup, these two just can't seem to land on the same page since they shared a living space some weeks back. Moving in together was probably one of the worst moves the couple has made, but maybe it was also a wake-up call to break up and move on. Lastly, Beyond the Gates spoilers for June 13 suggest that Chelsea Hamilton will be challenged emotionally by Dr. Madison Montgomery. The two ladies agreed to go on a date this week, so will this unravel during Friday's show? There are obvious sparks between Chelsea and the good doctor, but after going on a date together, will she also find a deeper connection than just attraction? Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that Chelsea has fallen hard for Madison in the short time she's known her. So will bonding with her further be a good thing or a bad thing? After all, she and fans don't know much about this new character. So could Madison have a shady past, or do something that will inevitably shatter Chelsea's already wounded heart? Thursday's episode begins with another uncomfortable encounter between Eva and Kat at the country club. But hey, doesn't every interaction between those two go down in flames? Eva comes out swinging, accusing Kat of planting the evidence in Leslie's apartment. "Cut the cat," she says. "You're the only one with a reason to do it." Kat resents being called a common thief, but Eva doesn't let up. "Just so you know, Leslie Thomas is a whole storm," Eva says. "She's here until she decides not to be." Without missing a beat, Kat replies, "Like a surviving the apocalypse." That's when Eva shuts the conversation down, telling Kat to take a page out of your brother's book and accept the New World Order. Boom. With his story on internet groomers turned in, Smitty receives his next reporting assignment, a profile on none other than Jacob's shady partner, Marcel Malone. Martin thinks it's beneath Smitty to take on that kind of story, and Smitty appreciates that his husband is actually taking an interest in his work for once. Meanwhile, Jacob is grabbing a drink with Marcel at Uptown, where they spot Leslie sitting pretty at the bar. Jacob expresses his frustration over being denied a warrant to test her DNA, but Marcel reminds him that he'll never get what he wants if he isn't willing to bend the rules a little. Leslie sashays out of the bar moments before Jacob receives an upsetting phone call. "What the hell could you possibly want from me now?" he asks. Kat returns home to bounce an idea off of Mona, since she used to be close friends with Leslie, or at least she thought she was. Mona still kicks herself for suggesting that Nicole hire Eva, but Kat once again tells her not to feel guilty. In fact, Kat has a plan to make Mona the person who gets Leslie out of their lives for good. We next see Mona meeting Leslie at Orphagene's, where she apologizes for lashing out the last time they saw each other. Leslie accepts her apology with a Cheshire Cat smile and takes her seat. Mona adds that Laura doesn't begrudge Eva for what happened, which Leslie appreciates. The church teaches us that everyone is worthy of forgiveness, Mona says, which prompts Leslie to ask, "Are you saying you forgive me?" Mona admits she isn't ready to forgive her yet, but she's open to hearing Leslie's side of the story. Over a plate of Orphe Jean's famous donuts, of course. Meanwhile, in walks Jacob. It turns out Kat was the one who called him earlier, and he's not happy to see that she's still playing amateur sleuth after he explicitly told her to stay out of Leslie's path. He even says that Kat has more in common with Leslie than she realizes. Comparing me to Satan in a wig? Kat asks. Nice one, Jacob. Plus, she says she has every right to go after Leslie and Eva, since she was right about them from day one. Over at the other table, Leslie gets some donut powder on her mouth, which Mona helps her wipe off with a napkin. Mona says she sympathizes with Leslie wanting her daughter to have a relationship with her father, but Leslie could have told Ted in private. There was no need for Leslie to go after Nicole. You took delight in her pain, and that's the part I can't get past, Mona says. I don't forgive you, and I don't think I ever will. Leslie plays the victim, telling Mona that it was cruel to invite her out, giving her hope of a reconciliation, only to blindside her with another lecture. You're just as mean as you accuse me of being, Leslie says as she storms out. Then Mona drops the act, and Kat celebrates that they got exactly what they needed. DNA from Leslie's napkin. Jacob is at a loss for words, but Kat reminds him that because they got her DNA from a public place, it's totally fair game. And if the DNA on the napkin matches what they found on the motorcycle helmet, Jacob will finally have enough evidence to arrest Leslie. Over at Garland Memorial, things aren't going so well between Ashley and Derek. Again, not only do we learn that they haven't seen much of each other lately, but he even turns down a date night because he already has plans to go drinking with his fantasy baseball league. Sensing the tension, he asks, "Are we okay?" Ashley plays it cool, telling him, "Of course we're oak. Why would I be upset about your plans? I gave you no notice." Meanwhile, she doesn't think twice about canceling dinner plans with her own mom in order to make time for him. They both recognize that they've fallen out of sync, but just when he asks how they can remedy that, a phone call at the nurse's station pulls Ashley away. Andrew later bumps into Ashley after his meeting with the hospital board. They officially signed off on the edits to his documentary, so Andrew tells Ashley that she won't be seeing him around the halls as much anymore. Ashley tells Andrew that she thinks temporarily living with Derek might have caused real damage to their relationship, and damage is the exact same word Derek is using while discussing their problems with Naomi at Uptown. Derek still loves Ashley with his whole heart, which Naomi says is all that matters, but he's not sure that love is enough to fix whatever their real problems are. Naomi would normally agree, but the experience of almost losing her father to a stroke has changed her perspective. Just as she felt guilty for ever giving Bill the cold shoulder, Derek won't have an infinite number of chances to make things right with Ashley. At the country club, Ted runs into his coworker Carlton, who asks if Ted has managed to win back Nicole yet. Right on cue, Nicole enters the room behind them. When Carlton says Nicole looks great, she adds that she also feels great after her ceramics therapy. Nicole excuses herself to attend a yoga class, at which point Carlton offers Ted some advice he absolutely did not ask for. He also offers to do anything to help, including making a play for Nicole just to make Ted look better. Ted doesn't appreciate the suggestion, but Carlton offers another thought. With how good Nicole looks, she's likely to meet someone new, maybe even in her yoga class. Following his awkward run-in with Nicole, Ted shares a meal with Eva, who admits that she really misses working for Nicole. She likes to do hair because it brings joy and beauty into the world, but working with Nicole allowed her to do that in a different way. Ted tells Eva that they may be able to help each other. With Kat taking a leave of absence as his office manager, he'll need someone to fill her position, one he believes Eva will excel at. She's flattered, but she isn't sure it's a good idea. "How, after all of that, can you even trust me working with you again?" she asks. He understands that Leslie is a powerful manipulator, and he suggests that Eva could start working for him on a trial basis. Eva doubts that Kat would agree to train her as Ted's new office manager, but he says he uses the same system as Nicole, so Eva probably won't have any difficulty figuring it out. He then introduces Eva to Carlton as their new office manager, and he welcomes her to their team. "You have no idea what you're in for," she tells them. "I run a tight ship." Then Carlton gets real flirty, telling Eva that they need someone to keep them in line. She gladly accepts the position. Zach, a friend and coworker of Martin's, drops by the apartment to discuss a store owner in Martin's district who was robbed and beaten. Martin asks for more details, but as Zach begins to describe the brutal attack, Martin starts having flashbacks, presumably from that night. Martin shrugs his vision off as a migraine. Still, the more he hears, the more he spirals. When Zach mentions money, Martin once again hears someone saying, "Let's see what colors your money." Martin takes his concerns to Nicole, who agrees to offer advice as a mother, if not as a professional psychiatrist. He says the nightmares feel more like hallucinations than dreams, and that he's starting to think he's losing his mind. Nicole asks if these nightmares could be from a real-life experience. "Did you go through something traumatic that I don't know about?" she asks. He says he doesn't have any idea what could be triggering the nightmares, and she makes him promise to make an appointment with a therapist, one he isn't related to. Of course, Martin has more than just his nightmares to worry about. When he arrives at the country club at the end of the hour, that sketchy waiter, who's obviously spying on him, takes notice and starts following him around. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, June 13, indicate some explosive moments as Fairmont Crest heads into the weekend. Martin Richardson's past continues to haunt him as Ashley Morgan questions Derek Baldwin's motives. Plus, Chelsea Lawson is challenged emotionally. Read on to learn more about what's coming up on the CBS soap. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, June 13, suggest that the lines between Martin's past and present will blur. During the Thursday, June 12 episode, Martin had another flashback when he heard news about an establishment in his district being robbed and the owner assaulted. As the assault and crime were described, Martin continued to have flashbacks of a mysterious night that he was trying to keep a secret. The flashbacks bothered Martin, so he decided to reach out to his mom, Nicole Richardson. The two had a nice talk on the June 12 show, and she advised him to get therapy. As the soap came to a close, Martin went to the country club, and the mystery man, who's been eyeing him, and Vernon Dupree followed him from a distance. Will these two run into each other? And is this mystery man connected to Martin's secret? Ashley Morgan questions Derek Baldwin's intentions across town. It sounds like Ashley will question Derek's intentions. What does the firefighter do that has his gal pal raising an eyebrow? It's been noted by both of them that things just don't feel the same in their romance since Derek moved in with Ashley and they tried living together. Will these two land on the same page, or is a breakup inevitable? In other news, Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday reveal that Chelsea might have bitten off more than she can chew when it comes to Dr. Madison Montgomery. Added teasers hint that the young woman will be challenged emotionally by her new love interest. How will Madison challenge Chelsea emotionally? The two did agree on a date this week, so will Chelsea find that she's not only wildly attracted to Madison, but also connecting to her on a deeper level? Beyond the Gates spoilers indicate that the CBS soap may be fairly new, but the cast has clearly bonded in the short time they've been together. Recently, some cast members of the daytime drama attended an event in support of Jen Jacobs' husband, Jess Rubin, as the singer and songwriter is out on tour. Rubin's tour made a stop in Atlanta, Georgia on Sunday, June 8, the very city Beyond the Gates films in, and some of the cast joined Jen to catch the performance. In fact, Carla Mosley not only attended the event, but she also commemorated the moment by uploading a nice photo of all the BTG cast members in attendance on Instagram. The pic was a group shot of Mosley with Rubin and Jacob, as well as Mike Manning, Tamara Toomey, and Jacob's on-screen mom, Jerry Tubbs. Also in the photo is Margaret Bingham, a friend of Mosley's, who's not a part of BTG. Mosley's caption started off with, "What a gifty to celebrate at Jen Jacobs' supremely talented husband at Jess Rubin. It's nights like this that make me feel like it's all going to be yuck." She added, "Check out his music or have him bring his positive message to your kiddo's school. Your heart will thank you." Mosley closed the post with, "Of course, fans and BTG castmates ran to the comment section, with Jacob writing, 'I want to swim in at Margaret Bingham voice, yes. At Carla Mose, you have the most special heart. I want to be you when I grow up.'" Mosley responded to this by saying, "It's the absolute truth." Jacob's husband, Rubin, also commented on the post, writing, "Thank you so much for being there." Plus, Manning commented with, "A perfect example of the healing power of art. It looks like fun was had by all. Are you a fan of Danny Dupree's? Join the conversation below. Watch your favorite soap on CBS Daily and check out this site regularly for the hottest Beyond the Gates news and spoilers." The Beyond the Gates What to Watch moments for Friday, June 13, 2025, bring fears and haunts to some of your favorite characters. Chelsea struggles with her new relationship. Martin is confronted by his past once again. Meanwhile, Ashley has some fears about Derek. Friday the 13th will bring the drama. Some characters will face the biggest bombshells in their lives. Martin is struggling to grasp reality. He's been keeping a big secret that has been haunting him. The lines between the past and present are starting to blur, and somehow, his past will affect his present-day life. Martin has been having difficulty sleeping because of it. During his latest visit to the country club, a mysterious gentleman was watching Martin and Vernon closely. Maybe this mystery man will finally speak to Martin. Is this man from his past? Meanwhile, Ashley has fears of her own. She's unsure about Derek's intentions. Their breakup seemingly went smoothly. However, they can't seem to get along ever since they moved in together weeks ago. Living together was the final straw in their relationship. Maybe it's time for them to move on. Also, should Ashley be afraid of Derek? She might be second-guessing everything she knew about him. Meanwhile, Chelsea has been moving forward with her new relationship with Madison. But is it more than she can handle? This exciting new romance has her challenged emotionally. Is Chelsea willing to take on the challenge, even if she risks getting hurt? The two will go on a date, which could happen during Friday's show. It's obvious that there are sparks between them. But will Chelsea get into her feelings too soon? Maybe spending so much time with Madison will make her realize that this is not just a mere shallow attraction. There's something deeper going on here. Beyond the Gates keeps giving drama and laying out the clues that keep us guessing. We still can't figure out what in the world is going on with Martin. What we do know is that Nicole has no idea what happened to her son in the past. And we also know that we have some questions after watching the Thursday, June 12 episode of BTG. Zach, who works for Congressman Richardson, told Martin all about the recent robbery that happened in his district. And there were a couple of times there that triggered Martin big time. Instant flashing light hallucinations and things like that. One was when Zach described the shop owner being beaten. The other time was when he mentioned Detective Marcel Malone. So this does have to do with the police, hence those flashing lights. Martin telling Nicole he felt fear while experiencing his nightmares, and then guilt when he came out of it does hint at Martin doing something bad that Anita, Vernon, and Bill got him out of, and it feels like we're getting closer to discovering what went down. How does Marcel, who's okay with bending the laws to his will, tie into this Martin mystery? Right now, the BTG end credits list Jason Vendries as Stranger. We know the mystery man has a steady gig at the Fairmont Crest Country Club, no doubt to be close to Martin and maybe even the rest of his family. This is their territory, and this stalker guy basing himself there is smart. Smitty's new assignment is to do a profile on Marcel Malone. Immediately, Martin's controlling part of his personality came out to play. He suggested to his husband that this assignment was beneath him, but Smitty doesn't want to make waves, so he's sticking with the task. And because of that, he may stumble upon something nefarious that leads back to Martin. Kat is relentless, and Jacob called her out on that fact. He even said that she was like Leslie that way. While Kat didn't appreciate the comparison, it didn't matter. She has a job to do, and that's to bring Leslie down. They hurt her family, and she will make sure that they never get that chance again. Her plan involved the amazing Mona pretending to apologize and doing it over donuts at Orphe Jean's. At one point, Leslie had to wipe remnants of the donut off the side of her mouth. Trap completed. Leslie left behind the napkin, and now Kat solved the DNA problem for Jacob. She even cited how she was legally okay to get the DNA this way. How is she not a cop yet? Is Eva even aware that she is threatening her second chance with Ted? He just hired her to be the office manager at his private cosmetic surgery practice. And he's doing it despite knowing that his other daughter will go ballistic once she finds out. But she's this close to losing it all because she knows that Leslie hurt Laura twice. And she didn't do anything about it except swipe the helmet and gloves from Leslie for leverage to protect herself. Ted's private practice partner is being eased into the world of BTG, and as much as we adore the actor who plays Dr. Carlton Fitzgerald, Robert Christopher Riley, something is going on with the character. Is he about to capitalize on Ted's inability to reunite with Nicole? Is Carlton a genuine friend to Ted? We can't help but be suspicious. Beyond the Gates spoilers for June 16 to 2025 see Haley Lawson getting some props and Dana Leslie Thomas scrambling. As we always do on early edition day, we start with what is coming the rest of this week to set the scene. On Wednesday, June 11th, Laura Peterson tells Dr. Nicole Dupree Richardson that she thinks Eva Thomas did a great job upgrading several things at the office. Laura asks her boss's permission to bring Eva in to show her some new things that she doesn't quite have a grasp on yet. Nicole says that's okay with her, but she doesn't want to be there for it. Laura wonders if her boss misses Eva. Nicole misses the Eva that she thought she was. However, Nicole also says Dr. Ted Richardson's lies have complicated everything. She just has so many doubts now. After Nicole leaves, Eva shows up later to help Laura with some things. Laura seems super nice. She's not even holding a grudge. She tells Eva that she thinks Nicole misses her. Eva says she betrayed Nicole and ruined things. Laura tells her not to lose hope, but Eva says as much as she would like to be reconciled, she knows she has no right to expect Nicole to forgive the things that she did. Meanwhile, Leslie keeps calling Eva. Here's why. Jacob Hawthorne shows back up at Leslie's place on Wednesday with a second search warrant. She's very blasé about it. As the cop with Jacob searches her place, she talks to him about her soap opera. Leslie offers him a. Then the cop and Jacob find the helmet and gloves. Leslie has a little moment of panic, but then covers it up. She says the items weren't there last time and that it's very convenient. Leslie accuses Jacob of planting evidence. Then Leslie calls Eva after Jacob leaves. She is in an absolute panic. Leslie tells Eva it's the end of the world and she needs her. Anita Dupree is meanwhile in Chicago doing her thing with her girls. She calls home to talk to Vernon Dupree. So she is in Chicago with Tracy and Sharon. They are exploring their past and revisiting things. Anita talks to Vernon about how desperate she was back then to fight her way out of the projects where she grew up. Anita is missing Vernon, but thinks she needs to work through things with Tracy and Sharon and keep doing what they're doing. Anita is also grateful that Vernon encouraged her to do this. Then Danny Dupree and Nickel come by. Vernon tells them what their mom Anita is doing, and that the Articulates reunion is happening. Nickel is upset because she needs her mom right now. Danny is there to comfort Nickel. They head over to Danny's place, and the sisters smash up a whole bunch of dishes and crockery while raging about Bill Hamilton and Ted doing them dirty, Haley, and just all of it, and Leslie. Kat, meanwhile, asks Chelsea Hamilton about the new girl, Dr. Madison Montgomery. Chelsea tells Kat she's worried that coming out to her dad, Bill, might aggravate his medical condition post-stroke. Chelsea's mind is distracted by thoughts of Madison, while Kat is trying to talk business. Chelsea suggests they use her mom Danny's guest house and move in there together so they can run their business and have a little bit of room and be side by side. There's more room. Kat worries that Danny is going to be all up in their business literally. Then Jacob shows up to talk to Kat and accuses her of planting the evidence at Leslie's place, because Jacob knows for sure it wasn't there when he searched her apartment before. Then he gets a call that the helmet and gloves match the video. Jacob tells Kat, "Don't get too excited." Then Jacob gets a follow-up call that a judge has denied their request to test Leslie's DNA to match it to the helmet. Jacob says if he can't get Leslie's DNA, then this won't matter. Eva, meanwhile, goes over to see her mom. Leslie is ranting about Jacob finding the helmet. Leslie actually tries to blame Eva, but Eva says she has no idea how the helmet got back to Leslie's place and tells her not to blame her. Eva tells Leslie if she hadn't taken it from Leslie, it would have been there when they did the first search, which is true. Eva's mom is crying about Eva not loving her. Eva reassures her mom and tells Leslie she'd never hurt her. After Eva takes off, Leslie is suddenly in better spirits on Beyond the Gates. Maybe she thought of some new, wicked, warped way to try and get out of this mess. She's clearly scrambling. Shanice Johnson does some therapy with Bill as Haley tells him to stop being so stubborn. Madison joins them in the room and says Bill can't go home until he proves his progress and that he should be released. Madison makes some small talk with Bill about Chelsea and Naomi Hamilton Hawthorne. Bill thinks it's a cognitive test when she's asking about his daughters, but it's not. Madison basically asks Bill a bunch of questions about Chelsea because she's interested. Later, Madison runs into Chelsea and they sit talking in the hall. Madison tells Chelsea it was lucky that Haley got Bill to the hospital so fast. Chelsea says she never thought she'd be grateful to Haley for anything. Chelsea thanks Madison for taking good care of her dad and asks her out on a date. Thursday, June 12th, Martin Richardson may be in trouble when Bradley Smitty Smith gets a new assignment as a journalist. Ted has an offer that surprises Eva. Kat is setting up Leslie to take a big fall. I wonder if Kat will get Leslie's DNA to hand over to Jacob. One way would be to get Leslie to attack her and get transfer DNA, something like that. Kat's pretty clever. Also this week, Andrew Richardson is popping into Danny's place feeling quite at home. Kat and Chelsea are there, and he scrambles to cover. Friday, June 13th, Chelsea is challenged in this new romance with her dad's doctor, Madison. Martin is very worried about his past coming back to haunt him. Ashley Morgan wonders what Derek Baldwin's intentions are. The week of June 16th through the 20th, we've got Anita continuing her blast from the past voyage down memory lane with her girls. Vernon holds down the fort with all their girls. Danny can't really tell Kat and Chelsea no to using the guest house, but that puts her and Andrea kind of under a microscope and at greater risk of getting caught. And of course, Danny is still struggling with these residual feelings for Bill, especially now that he's had this medical crisis. Danny wants to be there at his side. She's still on that "I've been his wife for decades" thing, but Haley is by his side, so it's an issue. Bill's recovery continues. He wants to be home, but Haley wants him to get the best care. Even Danny has to admit that Haley did ride by Bill when she could have just let him croak and cash the life insurance check. Leslie's at risk but will claw and fight till the bitter end. Hopefully, she won't throw Eva under the bus.